you told me that you wanted to go over another breakdown tonight, which is the top 10 coaches in the NFL, which I think is super interesting. I haven't seen anybody else do this yet. And I think it is, again, similar to our QB top 10 breakdown we did previously. You know, I want to make sure we're really clear about the parameters here, right? Like, what is it based on? How are you looking at this, you know, going into the season, as opposed to doing it like at the end of a season or in the middle of a season? So why don't you start with your mentality and how you're thinking through the top 10 coaches and how you're breaking them down?
All right. Yeah, absolutely. So for right now, it's where are they at right now in the game today? Okay. So yes, past 2-3 years was a career. Like, so most people would say, okay, best coach in the NFL, Bill Belichick, right? Well, look, Bill Belichick should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a legendary, great coach. Look, he's not a top 10 coach in the league right now.
Yeah.
He's just not, right? So it's a what have you did for me lately? Where are you ascending or descending to?
Okay.
Right? And how are you changing the organization you're with for the better or for the worse? Right? So, and then, hey, I do want to, at the end, I want to give out some more free plays if that's okay for you.
Let's do it in the betting corner. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. I want to take care of our people. All right. So number 10. All right. Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go.
I never have to. Number 10, old back. Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks comes in number 10. You know?
Wow.
Old Pete and the chewing gum.
Wow.
What do you mean, wow?
You went there already. You just came out of the gate. You came out firing. Out of the gates
Carroll.
hot.
Number 10. Hey,
Goodness. Okay, please. I got to hear. I have to hear the reasoning behind this.
Anybody that can chew the gum and be as intense as Pete Carroll.
Okay.
And look, he has apparently, from what we're seeing right now with Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll has proved he can win with two crappy quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Geno Smith.
Okay.
So look,
I'm not
the man's got my vote.
All right.
Number 10. Number 9, your old Cleveland Brown, Kevin Stefanski.
You love you some Stefanski.
Listen, Stefanski's got it going on. Look, I love his play calling. I love his design. If Deshaun Watson can get any kind of resemblance of what he was, Cleveland is a really dark horse. Kevin Stefanski's a darn good coach, man. Like, I like him. I like his demeanor. Kevin Stefanski comes in at number 9. Number 8, your boy, Vrabel.
Oh, that's it? Number 8? That's
Mark
what you gave
Vrabel.
him?
Yeah, I mean, look.
Coach of the year last year?
What?
Or year before. Sorry.
Yeah, what have you did for me lately? Last year, they missed the playoffs. So, look, Vrabel does a really good job. You know, you could make the argument he's did more with less, right? But some of that he's brought on himself, that Belichickian way of doing things. Hey, I don't want a good quarterback. Hey, I don't want superstars so I can rule the roost, right? And make it all about me and team. We'll see how long that can go on and continue, but I'm a huge Vrabel fan. I got him at number 8.
I know you are.
I am. I really am a Vrabel fan. I am.
Number 8.
It's just, you know, and other people, I've heard other people in mainstream media talk about this, and this is one thing I actually agree with them on. It's really hard to take that New England Patriots way of doing things outside of New England. Vrabel's been the only guy that's been able to make it work. Yeah. But even his sometimes is questionable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different. So, number 7, I struggled with this one, but I gave him the pass. Mike Tomlin.
Wow. All right.
I understand he's won a Super Bowl. I was really impressed last year, right? Hasn't never had a losing record, but however, he hasn't won a playoff game, but like one of them was a thing I saw since 2012. He's only won like 2 playoff games. So, you know, though you haven't had a losing season, you know, okay, maybe you were married to Big Ben too long. That really wasn't your call, whatever. Like, but Mike Tomlin, you can't argue with the job he does.
Especially last year. Yeah, what he did last year was really impressive. Yep.
Number 6, I really struggled with this one a lot. But then I had to look at the body of work, and I get it. I think Joe Burrow is phenomenal, but you got to give Zach Taylor his due, man.
Zach Taylor at number 6.
Yeah, you got to give him his due. They got him in a Super Bowl. They had the Rams beat had it not been for the phantom holding call. Okay. They've had them. I mean, they've beat Kansas City 3 out of the 4 times. Like, regardless how good Burrow, because you always hear Burrow and then you hear about the defensive coordinator, and Zach Taylor never gets any love, but the guy's got to know what he's doing. Right.
Yeah.
So
I like Zach Taylor. I like him a lot. And I hate the Bengals, but I really do like him. I think he's a good coach.
All right. Very cool. Number 5. Anybody that can win with Danny Dimes has got to be in the top 5. Brian Dable. Look, I'm not a big fan of the taco meat and the gold chain hanging out like he's in the mafia, or in smoking cigars like he's some kind of sex symbol. However, Brian Dable deserves his due, man, for what he did. Now, for him to stay on this list next year would be a huge accomplishment.
Yes,
because I don't think they can win 6 games. Right? I think they kind of caught people off guard. I think Danny Dimes sucks. But hey, let's see what Brian Dable does. With all that being said, Giants plus 3.5 looks a little juicy opening weekend at home on Sunday Night Football against the Cowgirls. What do you think?
Ooh, I like that. I really like that, actually. Yeah.
Giants getting 3.5 at home. You like that?
I do. I do.
Number 4, destined to be Coach of the Year, Doug Peterson.
You are in
Man's
love.
won a Super Bowl. Had the cojones to go ahead and call the Philly special. You look at what he did with Jacksonville in just 1 season. All right, I was watching him on NFL Network the other day. Look, Doug Peterson's a darn good coach, man, and how Philly let him walk is beyond me.
Yeah. No, the Jaguars definitely got a good find there. That was actually shocking how he landed there. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was begging for him to go to Washington. Begging.
Yeah.
Because I knew what he was.
Yeah.
So, number 3, a lot of people could question this, but again, even when he hasn't had his starting quarterback, he finds a way to stay in games. John Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Baltimore is always in the mix, even with the freaking Brown and all the backup quarterbacks they go through. I mean, look, they almost had Cincinnati beat last year.
Look, I don't disagree he's a top 10, but I mean, he's kind of showing some vulnerabilities, I think, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's got some chinks in the armor.
Chinks in the armor, 100%.
He's got some chinks in the armor.
But to listen...
Who would you put ahead of him? I thought about putting Peterson and Dable ahead of him, but I was like, no, I'll keep Harbaugh 3rd instead of 5th. 5th would be the furthest I'd willing to drop him going into this year.
I mean, yeah, I could see the Dable argument. Doug Peterson, yeah. Even Zach Taylor, I might put ahead of him. I mean, just...
Really?
Yeah. I mean, look, Harbaugh has an amazing track record. He's done, that franchise has been competitive every single year. It's super impressive. I just think he's on the downward trend. But that's not what we're talking about. It's what have you done for me lately? So I get it. But, I'm looking more ahead. We're being a little bit more level-headed about this. So maybe not fair.
All right. Number 2, I don't think there's any doubt. Kyle Shanahan.
Don't disagree with that.
I mean, it doesn't matter who in the world he has playing quarterback. They're always legit.
Yep. Let's just hope that he has the right pieces this year, because this is going to be, I think for all these coaches, really, but mostly for him, it's going to be a big year for his legacy, depending on what happens. I mean, he's taking a big gamble. Purdy? I mean...
You're right. He's taking a big one.
But he can win with Darnold. He can win with Lance even, I think. It's just a matter of him just figuring out the scheme. He's that smart.
I guess the thing would be, though, how, kind of to your point, how long till that runs out, though?
Right.
Because he is playing with a little bit of fire.
I totally agree. And I think that might get in his way at times.
Yeah.
Right. He really thinks he's that smart that he can win with anybody. We've talked about this before on the show. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm going to let him give it a shot. I'm going to let him give it a shot. Like, let's go for it. Let's give it a try.
All right. Number 1, Andy Reid. Hey, Kool-Aid. Anybody that looks like the Kool-Aid man's got to be number 1. Right.
Kool-Aid man.
That and that stash. Look, Andy Reid is in a class of his own right now. Right.
Legend.
And it's not just the Chiefs. It goes all the way back to his days in Green Bay as the quarterback coach when Brett Favre was there.
Right.
All the way up to the runs with Philly with that the team he had up there, having McNabb and Brian Westbrook. I think, again, you got to put him there for sure. They're in the number one spot. Hey, Dolan.
What she doing?
Get off my boxers. She goes up in the laundry and just
snag stuff, huh? Sniffing your drawers.
Yeah. So that's my top 10. What do you think? Give me some feedback. No Sean Payton. No Sean McVay. No Bill Belichick.
Sean McVay is over Pete Carroll. I'm like, I don't know. Even Stefanski. He's pretty smart. He's a pretty smart guy.
Who's that?
McVay.
Yeah. But I feel like he fell off the wagon a little bit last year, so he was right outside the top 10. I think another guy that can make a comeback, he's right outside that top 10, Frank Reich in Carolina. I like Frank Reich a lot.
Sure. I think you're giving some legacy points to Tomlin and Harbaugh for sure. But an Andy Reid at number 1, I love Andy Reid's coaching style. I love how he lets his players just play. He lets them just get out there and do what they're good at. If he didn't have those players, though, if he didn't have those pieces, like even there was disappointment in Philadelphia when he was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led to his departure eventually, and obviously him ending up in Kansas City. Would he be as good as he is without those pieces? Guys like Shanahan and Peterson and Dable, I love those because they're guys that can kind of make Vrabel, they can do a lot with a little, and that's the only question I have about Andy Reid at number 1. He should be in the top 10, 100%. I don't know who you'd put ahead of him though. So not going to argue.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're not going to argue. And then I wanted to...
I'm not your brother. I'm not going to argue with you too much.
Yeah, and I wanted to go ahead real quick and give you my top 5 worst coaches in the league. That'll be the first 5 to get fired, or should be.
Oh, okay. This is a surprise. I didn't know about
bonus,
this.
Yeah.
Okay, a little bonus section.
Number 5, Josh McDaniels of the Raiders. That organization is in a flaming disaster, and it gets worse by the day. Apparently, Jimmy G's looked horrific in camp. The whole thing's just a nightmare.
I don't disagree. McDaniels has been pretty
number
bad
4.
everywhere he's gone to head coach. Yep.
Number 4, the guy, great defensive coordinator, has no business as a head coach. He'll be fired after this year, if not midway through the season. Todd Bowles of the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, really nice guy, but in the words of the great Denny Green, he is who I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Staley, my boy from the Chargers.
You love your some Staley. Well,
that guy stinks. That guy stinks. Number 2 and number 1, I couldn't separate them.
Okay, because it's so obvious.
They're
both going to get fired.
They're just such morons that I can't say one's worse than the other or better than the other. Like if you had an island and it was called Incompetency Island, these 2 people are the Christopher Columbuses of this island.
Okay.
They found it before anybody else. And they're very next door to each other in the division. Mike McCarthy of the Cowboys, Ron Rivera of Washington.
I knew old Riverboat Ron was going to wind up in this
Riverboat
list.
Ron and Mike McCarthy, they're there on Loser Island. So those will be your first 2 coaches to go.
Even if the Cowboys make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not going to win a playoff game.
If they win a playoff game.
They're not going to win a playoff game.
Okay.
I mean, Dallas
McCarthy,
Cowboys are not winning a playoff.
Yeah, I think he might skate, but
no,
it makes sense. He shouldn't be the coach there. I mean, it just makes complete sense.
Dan Quinn will be the coach there. Hopefully Washington goes 1-16 and they hire Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury, and Caleb Williams. Just bring the whole USC family.
Oh, yeah. Easy now. They haven't done anything yet.
And while we're at it, go ahead and bring Cliff Kingsbury's girlfriend this way as well.
Oh, yeah.
She can run player development.
She'd love Washington, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised your boy Dan Campbell didn't wind up on this list.
Well, Campbell, listen, if I wanted
on the top 10, that is, not the top 5.
No. If you want a pregame speech, Dan Campbell would probably be number 1, talking about ripping legs and arms off of people. But, I don't know how real savvy X and O wise Dan Campbell is. But I love me some Dan Campbell. I think he's a great man. I think he's exactly what Detroit needs. And I hope he gets Detroit in the playoffs because that city deserves it. The franchise deserves it. And, for as much crap as he's taken, he deserves it.